Okay. Board Member Kravetz?
I just want to make sure I am understanding how this affects our funding, because it used to be the 100th day was, and maybe I'm going off on a tangent you're not prepared to answer, so Dr. Virgil's there. But it used to be 100th day was the big day, and get all your kids into school by the 100th day, because
Right.
that's what our funding is based on. But with current year funding, it's now day one, is it
It's
not?
every day.
Every day, okay. Thank you. Do we have to approve this change before we start talking to the community district? Okay. Well, also, thank you to the team that did the presenting tonight. They've all said things that I was going to say, but they said it better. And I like the fact that there's somewhat of a roadmap for this program, so it's not something that we're creating out of thin air and don't know exactly how it will be. I mean, at each school, I'm sure there's unique differences and challenges in comparison to this school in Florida that's in this article, but I'm glad that at least there's some sort of a template for us to use. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So you mentioned, Dr. Sakos, the student to guidance counselor ratio, which is something that I brought up before at I think it was at our work study, and that's something that I'm interested in exploring. But if we were to consider this, I think one of the other issues we need to consider is where are we going to put, and I know we're not having this discussion now, but where will we put additional staff? So I bring this up only because we talk about retrofitting our front offices, excuse me, I want to make sure I get the wording properly, retrofitting and upgrading our front offices, and if we ever want to consider adding more staff in that area, that just so when we do have that conversation, we need to consider where we're going to put them, because at some of our high schools, there may not be room right now, and I see Mr. Rayler's there, and he's in charge of, I think, upgrading our front offices. So I just want to keep that in mind, that that's another consideration as we move forward with the whole bigger picture of what we're going to do. So thank you.
Board Member Kravetz? Oh, sure. Board Member Kravetz?
Okay, I remembered what I was going to say after Mrs. Kirby spoke. I applaud this, I guess, not applaud, but I'm looking forward to seeing what actually happens in this legislature and getting more dollars into our district and into our classroom. I do hope there is some flexibility, and it is not dictated to us about how we have to spend the funds, because we have had issues with regard to the way some of our employees are classified, where you'd think, oh, this is a librarian, and a librarian should be getting, let's say, I don't think they get 1, 2, 3 money, do they? And I think we need some flexibility, so there's some equality, because I think some of our staff people are librarians, our psychologists, our speech pathologists. There's a whole list of people that are support staff to our students, and they deserve the funds as well. And I think it creates some negativity on campus when somebody that maybe, let's say I'll use guidance counselors as an example. Somebody holds a certificate. Somebody used to have a certificate, but because they didn't need it for a job, they don't let it lapse, but yet one of them gets 301 money. That's the classic example. But not all teachers are. Is it Fund 1000, Dr. Virgil?
The function 1000 instruction, which is a classroom teacher.
So there's some inequalities, which I hope whatever funds we get, we can use to perhaps make everybody whole and equal. That's about it.
Board Member Beckham?